Yes, welcome to another class on the sword. So this time around we are solving questions, just questions under the topics we've done so far. I would advise that if you've not gone through the part one in sword, part two in sword, up till part seven, please go through them. So it will make this calculation path easier and simpler for you. Well, I've been able to break it down to pieces in terms of explaining and not making it unnecessarily ambiguous. But this time around, we are solving as many questions as possible. Okay, so to continue the simplification part, we've done 6 questions in the first part, and now we'll be attending to another 4 questions in simplification. Then while we move to return to short form, we pick another 5 to 10 questions. So, and I would advise that if you have any other question troubling you, or if you have any other if you have any other question that you could not solve, you can just put it down in the comment section, or you can just screenshot and send to us, then we'll take care of it. So now we'll continue with our simplification. So we are doing 4 addition more, so that makes it 10 questions, 10 different questions. So we'll do that for all other topics in different form. So simplification continue. Okay, so like I said, I can generate as many questions as possible. Okay, we have past questions, even all these ones that I've mentioned. At least I've gone through the past questions. I know those questions, how they can be and how they can look like. So now let's say continuation. We say we stopped at 6 at the previous in the previous section. So just say number 6, we have let's say root 1000. Okay, and let's say, okay, this is 7, we stop at number 6. So let's say number 8, we have let's say roots let's say um 48. Okay, then we have number 9, we say, okay, let's just say root what else again can we use? So we can say roots, let's say that's 30. Okay, and then we can say number 10, we can say, let's say root 20. Okay, so and they ask us to simplify this. So let's just pick the first one. So it's very simple, we don't need to waste much time on this. For root 100, okay, let's say not 100, let's say 1000. Okay, 1000, we've done 100 before, so 1000. Here now we can see that, okay, what can go in 1000? For me, I would say, okay, since I know that 25 can go in 100, and it's 10 of 100 that you can see in 1000, I would say the first 100, 25 can go there to be what, 4 times. Okay, for 200, 25 can go there in what, 8 times. For 300, 25 can just add 4. 25 can go there 12 times. For 400, 25 can go there maybe with another 4, that's 16. Then for 500, so 25 can go, that's another 4, that's 20. Okay, then for 600, 25, another 25 can go, that is let's say plus another 4, that's 24. Then 700, another 25 can go, add 4 to it, because 25 in 100 is 4 times. So just add 4 to it. This is 28. Then in another 800, add another 4 to it, that's 32. 900, another 4 to it, 36. 1000, that is another 4, making what? That's 40. So it means that 25 can go here. 25, if you divide this by 25, it will give you 4. If you divide this one by 25, it will give you what? 8. If you divide this one by 25, it will give you 12. So it means 25 can go here 12 times. You understand? So don't forget, it's just 4, add 4 to it, 8, like that. So if you're working on jam, immediately you can just quickly ascertain this. If I get the first 4, okay, then I can times it by 10. Since this one is going 1, 2, in 10 places, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I get the first 4, I'll just times it by 10. So if I times 4 times 10, it will just give me, it's just be 4 times 10 to give me 40, which is this one that I've gotten here. So it's very simple, but I break this down just for you to know how I can get my, my 40. But if I'm in a jam class, okay, or perhaps I'm in a post UME and they want me to do this, I don't have to waste time. I know that, okay, 100, 25 can go there in 4. I'll just times it by 10 straight. I get my 40. So here is the same thing as 40 times what? 40 times, that's 40 times 25. Okay, so 40 times 25 will give me 1000. Don't forget, we divided by 25. So from the multiplication valid sort that we mentioned, condition, that principle is very, very important. As I've mentioned, like I said that this is the same thing as this one is the same thing as root 40 times root 25 from the multiplication law, okay, in sort, which is root a times b is equals to root a times root what? B. My a here is 40, my b here is what? 25. So the same thing applies. That's what we're using. So from here, we can now say, we can still break this one, that 40 into 2. That is, I know 4 can go here. So this one will now be 4 times what? 10 times root what? 25. Okay, so from here I can split this one into root 4 times root 10 times root 25. So if you look at it, what's the square root of 4? The square root of 4 is 2. Okay, you can't find the square root of 10. Okay, then the square root of 25 is what? 5. So it means that if I say 5 times 2, this one is what? 10 root 10. So that's the answer, which implies that we have root 1000 in terms of simplification is the same thing as what? 10 root what? 10. Okay, very, very simple. You don't need to waste much time. Okay, so like I said, we can have so many questions as possible. So we've taken care of that. We'll move to number 8 to avoid wasting time. Okay, so we have number 8, which is what? Root 48. So from root 48, I can see that 4 can go here. So 4, I can say, okay, yes, if you have 48 divided by 4, 4 year 1, 4 year 1, 4 in 8, 2, that's 12. Okay, I can say this is the same thing as 12 times what? 4. From the same multiplication law under sort, root a times b is equals to root a times root b. Very important. So I can also split this into root 12 times root what? 4. We are not here to, perhaps you wanted to show yourself whether you're very good, or we're just working towards. My own target is to ensure that, to make sure you know that mathematics is just like chin chin and pure water, because it's very, very simple. In as much as you know how to work all this, then it will now help you to summarize or perhaps jump some steps if you are working with options or objective. But if you want to be very accurate, it's good, work it out and be sure that you got the answer. If out of 50 questions you were able to treat 40 questions and you are double sure that you will get them, then it's a go for me. So it's not alpha, but what? How well. I can say yes, I want to adopt shortcut, and at the end of the day you make a lot of mistakes. So it's good you understand them. So I can still divide this 12 into 4. Like 4 times 3 will give me 12. That's times root 4. So don't forget, we've also adopted multiplication law under sort here. That is valid sort. Okay, I can split this into 4 times root 3 times root what? 4. So square root of 4 is what? 2 times root 3 times what? 2. That is square root of 4. 2 times 2 is 4. So 2 times 2, it will give me what? 4 root 3. So it means that that implies that root 48 is equals to 4 root 3. Imagine this something like this was given to you in the objective part, maybe in the theoretical part, maybe like sub part, maybe 1A, 1B, that you're supposed to do. So any examiner, either is computerized, okay, or perhaps is manual marking, they will see these steps. I'm very sure you get your full mark. You understand? And at the end of the day, you still quoted this multiplication law which you have here. That is just to tell the examiner or perhaps the computer that is marking it that, okay, I'm adopting this multiplication law under SURD to simplify these particular SURD questions. So that is root 48. So since we are done with that, I believe we understand what we have for number 7. Let's just clean that up to ensure that we move to the next one to avoid wasting much of our time. Okay, we have root 30. Now, I can come here and say, okay, what can go in room in 30? So let me start with 2. 2 can go. That is what? 2 divided by 30 is what? 15. Can I split this 15? 5 times 3, 15. Okay, so it means that I can still split this. Okay, let me use, if I'm not using 2, can I use 3? Divided by 3, that is what? 10. Okay, 3 year 1, as a 3 year 1, then in 0, that's 10. Okay, 2 year 1, 2 year what? 15. Now, I look at this one is 10. So can I still split 10 into 2? No. 5 times 2, 10. It means you can't split them further. So I look at again, what else can go? I can say, okay, 4, 5. If you say 5, that's 30 divided by 5. That is what? 6 times 5 is what? 30. So 5 times 6, can you just split it? No, you cannot split it. I will say, okay, what can I do again? I'll move forward again. Let's say I have 6, I have 7, I have 8, I have 9, I have 10. So it means I can divide 10, which is the same thing as if I bring this 10 here, I will still have 3. Okay? If I use 15 here, I will still have 2. So it's still the same thing. So which means that the simplification of this is still what? Root 30. Don't forget, this kind of question can come in it's a very technical question that can come in what? Under objective. They can just say, okay, simplify root 30. You just go to the E option or perhaps the D option, you just see answer as what? Root 30. What they are trying to tell you is that you cannot simplify these further. Okay? Because at the end of the day, every figure that you'll be getting, if you're not very careful, every figure you'll be getting, you will not be able to simplify it. Imagine, let me just give you here. So this is 15 times 2. Let's assume we use this first one, which is this 15 and 2. Okay? And we say this is root 15. This is root 2. Okay? So we cannot simplify this. If I say this one is what? That's 5 times 3 times root 2. Okay? We say root 5 times what? Root 3 times root 2. So can we simplify this further? No, we cannot simplify it further. So they will still maintain the same, it will still come back to the same 30 after applying multiplication law. That is A times B times C, which is 3 value here, which is this one. I'm applying multiplication law. Is the same thing as what? It's the same thing as root A times root B times root C. Okay, that's the multiplication law. So it's because this one is extending to 3 figure, that is why we're using this. So the same thing will still come back to this, which is still what? 30. So it means I cannot simplify 5, I cannot simplify 3, I cannot simplify further 2. So don't forget, those are the example of what? Irrational number. So you can't simplify further. So the root 30 is still the same thing as what? Root 30. I intentionally put that just for you to know that not in all cases, sometimes you can break it down to the lowest. Because if you're trying to break it down, you will still get what you cannot break it down further, which will still give you the same root 30. So let's just do the last one, which is number 10. Number 10 is what? Root 20. Root 20 is very simple. I can just say 5 times 4. 5 times 4 is what? 20. Then I say root 5 times root what? 4. So root 5 times what? What's the square root of 4? That's 2. The same thing as what? 2 root 5. Very simple. So which implies that root 20 is equals to 2 root 5. So that takes care of all the 10 questions on that simplification. So what we can just quickly do is that we'll try before we get to, we'll try and solve 1 or 2 questions under returning to single SURD form, so that we can conclude this part and move to the next one and solve as many questions as possible for the next one. So now we say that, okay, return the following SURD. This one too is very simple. Return the following to single SURD form. So return the following to single SURD form. Let's just say, okay, we have, let's say number one, we have 3 root 4. Then number two, we have, let's just say we have 5 root 7. Number three, we have 4 root 8. Okay, let's just say 4 root 3. Okay, so number four, we have that, let's say 7 root 6. Then number five, we have 8 root 5. So for the first one, it's very simple. Okay, like I said, they said return to single SURD form. Okay, so I've told you this one is the same thing as 3 times 3 square root times what? 4. Okay, how did I arrive at this? This 3 here is the same thing as this, what we have here. So how did I arrive at that? Look at it very well. 3, you have 3 here. Okay, it's also the same thing as 3. This one is 3. Take 1 3. You have 3 in double places. 3 raised to power 2 times power of what? Half. Okay, I've told you that this square root also means what? Power half. And you have 3. Pick one. Law of indices. Pick one and add 1 plus 1, which is this 2 here. Okay, we will still get to indices. Okay, and it will be very clear. So now, if I cancel this 2, I cancel this 2. It will give me 3 back. 3 is equals to 3. Or you do this 3 times 3, 9. Square root of 9 is what? Is still what? 3. So since I'm returning this to this, then I can now say this is root 4. Don't forget this is root 4. So that implies that, okay, I can have from the multiplication law, which is the multiplication table that I've mentioned, that I can have this one is what? That's root 3 times 3 times what? Root 4. Okay, that is the multiplication table, which is the A, B, and C. Root A times B times C is equals to root A times root B times root C. That's exactly what we've applied here. Okay, that is root A times B times C is equals to what? Root A times root B times what? Root C. Okay, my A here is 3, B is 3, then C is 4. So it means here I can say 3 times 3, 9. 9 times 3 is 27 plus another 9, that is 36, if I'm not mistaken. So 3 times 3, 9. 9 times 3, 27. 9 times 3, 27 plus another 9. So that is 10, 6. That's 36. So it means it's what? So now, like I said, 3 times 3, 9. 9 times 4, 36. I'm just doing this calculation just for me to know whether I'm correct, okay? Because I know 9 times 3 is 27, and I'm adding another 9 to this. So that will give me 36. So which implies that the single form, the single SURD form of 3 root 4, of 3 root 4, single SURD form of 3 root 4 is 36, root 36. Okay, that is very clear. So let's move to the second one. We have number 2. We have 5 root 7. 5 root 7. So now here is the same thing. Don't forget, it's the same thing. I'm using the same indices to solve this. I can do this 5 times what? 5 times what? Root 7. So this is the same thing because I'm turning into a single SURD form. So I'm doing like this now. 5 times 5 is 25. Square root of 25 will still give me 5. So it means that this one is the same thing as what? The same thing as this. Okay? If you press your calculator, you will get what I'm trying to say. So this one is the same thing as, don't forget, I'm also applying this multiplication law in this question number 2. So this one will be what? That's 5 times 5 times what? 7. So which implies that 5 times 5, 25. All I can just do, then I can do my 25 times 7. 7 times 5, that's what? 35. Carry 3. 7 times 2, 14 plus 3. That's what? 75. So it means the answer here is root 175. Okay, so that is for number 2. Then for number 3 here, you see that single SURD form is very, very easy. Number 3, we have 4 root 3. So 4 root 3, don't forget, is the same thing as 4 times 4, okay, times root what? 3. This one is the same thing as what we have here, this one, okay. 4 times 4, 16. Square root of 16 will still give me 4. So it means that I can now use multiplication law on the side times what? Root 3. So at the end of the day, I will have 4 times 4, 16. That's 16 times 3, 6 times 3, 18. You can press your calculator, okay? It's not compulsory that you have to do it the way I'm doing it. But I'm very sure in the JAM standard, if you're not allowed to use calculator, okay, so it means that you need to follow this method. So 6 times 3, 18. Carry 1, 3 times 1, then you have what? 48. So it means the root here is what? Root 48. Do you understand me now? So the single short form of 4 root 3 is equal to what? Root 48. What this means is that if I simplify this, I will get this. Okay? So if I want to return into single short form, I will still get this. So it's the same thing. So if I simplify root 48, I will get this. Then if I also want a single short form, I will get this. The same thing applies here. It means that if I simplify this, okay, if I simplify this, I will get this, okay. So then if I want to turn it to single short form, I will get this. So that is just the meaning of what I'm doing here. So that's why they said return to a single short form. So it's very simple. I can, so many questions you can play around with, okay, under this part. It's very simple. It's just like chinchi and pure water. So we have number 4. We have 7 root what? 6. It's the same thing as 7 times 7, okay, times what? Root 6. Okay, so don't forget this is the same thing as this, which is root 7 times 7. So which means that I can apply multiplication law. 7 times 7 times what? Root 6. If you know this is a bit not clear for you, please go through all the series from part 1 to part 7. You will see, you will understand better, and you'll be able to flow along very well. So if you do this, 7 times 7, that's 49. Okay, then you can do your 49 times 6. So if you look at this one now, 9 times we just did 9 times 3 is 27. Okay, 27 plus another 9 is what? 36. Okay, which is 4. Okay, then if you had another 18 to 36, that is 18 to 36. If you press your calculator, it will give you the answer you're looking for. So 8 plus this, that will give you that's this one is that's 14, that's 4, 5, 54. So it means this one is what? Square root of 54. So which implies that 7 root 6 is the same thing as this. So if I simplify this, it will give me this. But if I return into short form, it will give me this. It's just vice versa. So returning to single short form is the same thing as what? Simplification. It's just vice versa. Okay, you walk it forward, then you walk backward. Walk forward, you walk back. Calculate forward, you calculate backward. So it's still the same thing. I believe this is very clear, and I believe this is very simple, and is what? Straightforward. And don't forget, don't fall victim if you are given the one that you cannot simplify for that. Okay, just be very careful to pick the right option. So now for 8 root 5, okay, it's the same thing as 8 times 8 square root times what? Root what? 5. 8 times 8 is what? 64. So we can say 8 times 8 multiplication law times root 5. So 8 times 8 is what? 64. Times 5. 5 times 4, 20. Carry to 6 times 5, 30 plus 2. That's 32. That's what? Root 320. Which implies that 8 root 5, okay, is equals to 320. So if I simplify this, I can give you simplify this, it will still give me the answer. Okay, if I say return it to single short form, I will still come back to this. So they are both the same thing. So please, if you have any other questions, or if you're not clear in any of our parts, please drop it in the comment section so that we can assist you further. But I believe it's straightforward. If you take your time, just 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes to go through each of those parts, I believe that you'll be able to understand better what we're dealing with. Don't forget, our target is to ensure that, yes, you understand this basic undersword. so that by the time you get to higher classes, or you get to jump standard, or you get to SSA, you'll be able to calculate by heart yourself and be sure that, okay, yes, you solve a lot of questions as possible. Please endeavor to like and share and comment to ensure that other students also benefit from it, and other young ones that we have out there that are having challenges with mathematics across board will be able to also gain and learn from it and see how simple mathematics can be. It's not difficult at all, because as at when you even when you get to part one, even when you get to your posterior, you will still play around with this question, because in part one we call it MTH 101. Okay, the social sciences, they also have another code that they're using, but it's more simpler compared to MTH 101. So please don't play around with mathematics. And I understand that some universities, they also require further maths. Okay, that is why we also added further maths to ensure that, to see that yes, so it's though it's further, but it's also simpler, it's also cheaper. You understand? It's also easier. So I will appreciate that you like and share and comment as we proceed in this calculation. Thank you.